Oh, baby, we're back. You know what I was just thinking? I got to tell you this. I was, I'm moving into the new place. Okay.
So awesome.
And I was down in the boiler.
The basement?
I was in the boiler room. It has no basement.
Great movie, by the way.
What, the basement? Or boiler room?
Yeah,
It's a good film. Especially if you're into sales. So I'm in the boiler room. I got my uncle-in-law there with me. He's very helpful, very handy. Ex-Marine, good dude, right? Really cares. And I found a huge fucking hole in the wall that was there because someone did a chop shop job back in like 1975 when the house was built or whatever, like having the pipes come through and stuff. Now, it's a small room. It's too small. And we have two full-grown men trying to work in this thing, okay? So behind the water heater, which don't move easily, it's not one of the instant ones. It's one of the big tall boys.
Right.
I'm in there. I got my fucking huge head wedged. Like literally, I can't. I'm trying to see around the back because there's a pipe that runs across the floor into the walls, essentially, right? So I got my head like packed in this thing. The water heater's like squished against it. It's kind of warm. I understand it's insulated, but it's hot in there. All right. And I got Dwayne, which is his name. Dwayne's behind me.
No circulation.
Oh, it's terrific.
Terrific. Just pure sweat.
Doesn't smell good. You know, it's just
all
like
that.
the old bowels of the house. I was telling Amanda, it's the devil's den, you know? So I'm in
There's
there.
Annabella's doll. There.
Yeah. And it, you know, Dwayne's got his, you know, I got the music playing for him. What were we listening to? Like just Disturbed was on.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Good band. And that's playing. It's not too loud because I'm trying to communicate with him, but he's holding the light above. I'm down on my knees with my head packed in this thing, trying to see around the corner with the insulation to get it packed in. So he's shining and his legs are like over mine behind me. So I'm in there. I'm like packing this thing in. Music's playing. Like, all right, it's all good. You know, we're working men down there in the devil's den. Amanda's in the other side of the house, and she's painting. Okay, because remember I told you we got all this expensive ass paint. Paint's ridiculously priced nowadays. I'm filling this thing in. I'm real excited. You know, I feel like I'm a working man doing shit with my hands. And remember, my head's wedged in here, and I got Dwayne behind me. You know, whatever happened. I don't know what happened, okay? But as I'm putting the insulation in, I start to hear this like, and for me, when I was just there in that moment, they got the labels on the hot water machine.
Yes.
Where it shows like the stick figure exploding out of a fire. I'm like, I'm going to die today with my head jammed in between a hot water heater and a wall from 1975 with a gaping hole in it, right? And so at first I thought it was the music. So I'm still packing it in, and then this vibration gets massively intense. But I realize it doesn't come from the hot water machine. It's coming from inside the walls. I don't know what's going on. So I start in like a mild fucking panic. I'm like, Dwayne, back the fuck up. Like, get off of me right now. So I send him fucking flying backwards. I trip over his legs, crush him, and I'm laying on top of him like we're mating. And he's in like a state of shock. Disturbed is playing, you know, on like the Bose speaker, right? And I literally think there's like some alien being in the walls, or Satan is coming out to like rip me in and take me down. You know,
that's wild.
So, and then Amanda comes around the corner. She's like, "What was that?" I'm like, "You heard that?" She says, "The entire house was shaking. What were you doing in there?" I said, "I was putting insulation in around a pipe." Dude, the whole house was like pumping in vibration. I thought I was going to die. Dwayne was in like a state of delirious shock because I shoved his ass to the ground.
I wonder what it was. Like, too bad you didn't have like those
dude
like frequencies and stuff like that.
If you heard this
maybe
noise,
that's why the place is available.
This noise was a sound I've never heard before in my life, and my head's fucking wedged in between a water heater and the wall.
Were the dogs acting silly?
They're outside.
Oh,
they didn't even hear it. They're running around the property. Dude, it was the weirdest sound I've ever heard.
I wonder if there's like that railroad going from the labs that no one wants to talk about.
Yeah, and it just goes right under our property.
Yeah, and it went right by. I've seen that. I saw that at the. I had that happen at the apartment complex that we were living at.
What happened?
I felt the same thing, like, bro,
Bro, it was insane.
And then I looked at my glass. I had a glass of water, like with an actual glass, and I looked at the water, and it was making the ripples. You know how it does, with vibration.
Crazy.
So something was happening.
Something happened, and I don't know
whether
if it was
it's seismic or.
Dude, there's not a fucking chance me with the insulation.
No, that couldn't have done it.
Would cause this.
Not the whole house.
The whole house was pumping in vibration.
Well, so other people may know about this.
I don't know what it is. If there's any like people that are handymen or carpenters,
or maybe people's had the same thing happen to them.
So the only other time I've experienced something like in a house. So I'm back in Massachusetts. I don't know where the hell everybody was, but I was home alone with the two dogs. Okay. They're always sleeping by the front door, which is glass, and they can like look out into the yard. And I'm hanging out on the couch. Couch overlooks the kitchen, essentially like the whole room for where it's placed in the living room. Right? I can see throughout this old colonial home. This huge compression blast over the house squeezes and shakes all the windows instantly. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost
had to have been
someone came down,
experimental aircraft or something.
I don't know, dude, but someone came down and like squeezed the fucking house. The dogs freaked out. I go outside. I literally run outside and look right up in the sky. I'm like, what the fuck was that? What just squeezed this goddamn house? Out of dude, there was no noise, nothing. Just absolutely compressed it.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast, and the guy was talking about, he's like a Gnostic writer and stuff like that, but he was talking about looking at multidimensional, like aliens not being necessarily like far, far away, like in planets and stuff like that. Like we have a view, but they're multidimensional.
So funny.
And then they can bring a bubble kind of, if you want to understand it, of their dimension into here. And then that causes them to defy the laws here, because each dimension has laws, which we know of, laws of nature.
Oh, it's almost like fucking these dimensional laws up, because they're bringing what they got over.
Yeah, they can almost put their UAP, whatever you want to call it, into that, like a big bubble around them, and then they can operate, but then it reacts with our laws. But
it was a weird experience, and I've showed you pictures of the orbs that are around me when I'm meditating.
Yes, 100%.
So I'm meditating the other night. Great fucking meditation. I'm in deep, right? Just totally like I'm pure fucking blissful silence. Shit starts moving around in the room, like my crystals, and I can see, because there's dust. It's New Mexico with dust on everything. There's a trail because the crystals are getting shifted while I'm meditating in the pitch black, right?
Move this one,
move that huge thing.
I don't know if people could see it.
So, dude, so I'm there, I'm meditating, and then all of a sudden, there's like a pressure in the room because the recessed lighting starts to make a popping noise. Like it's getting pressed against in the wall. It's like the walls are getting squeezed. I walk out of the room when I'm done with the meditation after about 25, 30 minutes, and Amanda was outside. The second I go to talk to her, something gets thrown across the room that I was in.
So you could like hear it.
So fucking loud, so audible.
Was it Bigfoot throwing rocks?
All the dogs are in the living room. I'm three floors up, bro. Come on, chill. So all the dogs are in the living room, and she's like, "What was that?" I said, "I don't know. I was just in there meditating. It felt a little weird, but I said it was a good meditation." I go back in there. I can't find the object that has been thrown. Now this is like the second time that's occurred, because you're saying there's like a dimensional thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have recorded video footage of me meditating when a crystal was picked up and dropped during the meditation, right? I filmed it on 4K GoPro. But to go back, you can hear it, everything that's going on in the scene, but nothing is actually occurring physically. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, because it's just you've entered a different dimension.
It's almost like they're grabbing the other dimension of it, but audibly it comes through.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think they like to hang out when I meditate. Because imagine me like a battery, okay? And I'm creating this space with my battery that's comfortable to allow energies to come in and kind of move stuff around to resituate it. And I think that's really what's occurring when like this other dimensional stuff is occurring.
Yeah, and people don't realize the volume and the amount of higher beings. I mean, in each density.
Yeah, you're not counting like humans on the
fourth
planet.
Density, how many beings are in fourth density? that could move through dimensions,
billions upon
fifth
billions.
density and sixth density. I mean,
Yeah.
all of those. When you look at that, I mean, there's probably trillions. So why would you not have a collective consciousness or a group of entities that have attached? And people have that. That's where they like. You start looking at the demonic stuff and all that stuff. But we've tried to put different names, angels and stuff, but it's just higher dimensional beings.
No, that's what it is.
Having influence. They can't go against your free will.
And here's a picture, by the way, the orbs.
Yeah,
just for those. Like, if you guys,
and it's got perfect sacred geometry on it too.
They're the fucking wildest thing.
Yes,
and there's hundreds of them flying around like crazy. I can't explain it, but it's just there, in the pitch black.
Yeah, and then I mean, we'll have to do a whole episode on orbs because a lot of people.
I
have a good friend of mine that saw orbs ultra clear.
Yeah, but how do I?
When he was out in the sea.
What are we going to talk about? What we don't know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can do some research.
We can hypothesize.
Yeah, what it is. Yeah.
And by
this is for entertainment purposes only, anyways.
We got sent a box of stuff. Okay, from this seemingly cool brand. I got to tell you, the packaging's nice. It's called Magic Mind. It's an adaptogenic power shot. I don't know what I would call it. I'm just giving my own vocabulary on it. It seems to have some cool stuff in it. A lot of stuff from the earth. It's got your ground up tea leaves, right? Your matcha and stuff like that. But I guess the whole point is to be uplifting without drinking coffee.
Yes. So it's not to have the caffeine like that hit that
that
dirty,
sharp peak.
It's almost like a dirty hit.
Yeah, like a cigarette.
Right.
And then the cigars like the long roll.
Yeah.
Cigars are classy.
The cool part about this, I mean, with the brand is Kardashians have talked about it. Joe Rogan's talked about it, and that doesn't give it.
We're not cool.
Yeah, we're not.
Why do we have this?
Yeah, why do we have this? So
no, but I will be honest about it. The packaging is cool. Listen, guys, I've been in the manufacturing space. This internal printing on the box, bougie.
Yeah, I love that
so
part.
Hold on. I just want to crack one of these open.
Give me one.
You've been. What? Oh, they're smaller than I thought. I mean,
shots.
That is
shot.
Do more, stress less.
Do more, stress like magic.
How many days are we supposed to take this stuff
matcha for 3 days?
Okay, so I got to rip this stuff for 3 days.
Subtly sweet matcha boost. I mean, you get a subscription to this, and we'll give you guys a code and stuff like that. Subtly sweet magic mind matcha boosts your energies. Adaptogens helps you relax. Nootropics keeps you focused, and then you have vitamin C, D, and echinacea, which just helps your immunity. Okay. What I liked about it was there's only 3 grams of carbohydrates and 3 grams of sugars. So
I'm immune to bullshit. Is this going to help?
Take alongside your morning caffeine. Benefits build with daily use. Best served chilled, which we have.
That's what I got. Chill right here.
This is Venice Beach, bro.
Do you know Venice Beach? Yeah. Do you know how they have those things that hold champagne bottles with all the ice?
That's all we need.
I want a
bunch of magic minds. Just
I don't want shot size. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, I don't know how this tastes yet.
It's not bad.
I mean,
from what you would think it would taste like.
I mean, it's as expected.
Yeah, it's not like shake, breathe, and drink.
They put saffron in this.
Is that what I'm tasting? What am I tasting? What do you taste? Herb. There's like
what's that?
A predominant taste.
Yeah, and something a little acidy on the back end on the throat. Yeah. What is that?
The only sugar is agave, just 3 grams of it. So it's pretty sweet though. It tastes pretty sweet. Matcha, I like matcha. I've used matcha before.
They got olive oil in it.
That's great.
Yeah, I can jive. I can jive.
Okay, natural. Then we're going to podcast.
What the fuck does that mean?
We're going to podcast after this.
Shake, breathe, drink.
Okay. I got to get the bottom. The bottom sediment looks cool.
Yeah, it
looks like that the green.
I feel like I got to re-rinse it with water. What is that? Kind of like takes my breath away.
Takes my breath away.
All right, I'll rip this. I'll rip this for a couple days.
See how it goes. Then on the next podcast, we'll give our.
I'm pretty attuned to like shit I'm putting in my body, so I'll let. I mean, if I feel something in a couple of seconds,
I mean, you out of anybody that I know, maybe one other person that is super clean eating. So I mean, you're ultra clean on your eating. You don't
just have it now.
You don't get too crazy.
No.
Do you have cheat meals every once in a while?
There's no what cheating.
Well, I meant like, do you have like
either it's good,
big mass amounts of sugar or big? I mean, you have carbs.
No, dude. Do you know how much I want like
Like a chocolate croissant, a really good croissant.
That sounds really fucking
I
good.
love those.
You know what I've been craving is cereal.
Yeah, that's the thing.
The problem
I had
is
to get rid of.
I pass out when I eat it.
Well, I think the problem with is the way that they, what I have heard, like we need to do a whole episode on Kellogg and cornflakes, but the whole thing is, when you really think about it, is they were trying to find, and I get it from the marketing perspective, they were trying to find the cheapest food and keep it on the shelf a long time. When you have hunger problems in the early 1900s,
yeah, it makes sense.
You want to find something that you could put in a can or a box. It lasts a long time and it's super cheap to make, just because you want to get as much food as you can out there, because people were malnutrition back in those days.
Sure.
1800s, 1900s, people were people are starving now, but in 1930s and 40s, you can see pictures, people showing their ribs showing and everything else. So to be able to buy a box of cornflakes, but he had a spiritual,
sounds like a fashion.
He had a spiritual center, Kellogg did. And he would just have people just eat cornflakes all the time and get rid of their sins. So we got to do a whole
cleanse me with the cornflakes.
Which is what we're going to talk about today is occults. And I want to.
No, not occults. We're talking
occult. The
cults.
word occult is good.
Yeah, we're talking about
CULT.
cults.
Yeah. And really what I like to title this episode is Stupid Spirituality. Because there's a shitload of that out there.
Yeah.
Dude, I see these podcasts and you just go on there and it's like, well, that was 30 minutes of a string of bullshit.
Yeah, I get that all the time.
Yeah, it's just like, you're just signaling to the spiritual community, and you've come up with the vocabulary.
Yeah.
Where you can
define my own vocabulary. I'm cool. You should pay for this because I'm a guru. No.
And when the minute that you have you heard about the cult? The cult. Joe Rogan bought his first building that he bought.
Yeah,
belonged to a cult for his new comedy club that he made.
Oh,
and so they actually did on Amazon Prime. It's called Holy Hell. So this guy that was very flamboyant, gay, which is who cares. But this is part of the whole thing because I got to tell you the story from West Hollywood.
Okay,
creates this cult,
big gay community in West Hollywood.
Yeah, creates this cult, but he's getting couples to come in to the cult. So he gets in a lot of trouble and he's a really good looking guy. Gets in trouble with California and that whole area. So he moves to Austin, Texas, buys this building. And then the cult, like everybody dumps their money. This is the and people, of course, I need all your money. You worship me. That's the typical cult. So
wait, that's what the Vatican does.
Yeah. That's what we're saying. A lot of fundamentalist churches and
every time the coffer
tithing.
This is my favorite line. Every time the coffer rings, a soul in purgatory sings.
Yes. Or you can buy your way to heaven.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get out of purgatory.
Yeah.
You're in purgatory. But so he buys a building, kind of finds out, does all this stuff. And what the really cool part is, so the guy's like, to the couples, he's like, well, I need to do massages and stuff for your husband. Like,
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Who's doing the massage for
the cult leader?
So the
cult leader's like, hey, it'd be like, you like my girlfriend and me, and then he's like, hey, Jason.
Oh, so he's attracted to you.
Yes.
And
he's using a spiritual format.
In front of Leah.
Yeah. He's like, hey, you need to, they're already bought in. Like Leah and I would be bought in. Yeah. And then he's like, hey, Jason, I need to do some massage work with you, release, a lot of this. So he ends up taking tons of straight guys and convinces them that they need to have sex with him.
This is awesome.
This is what happens in cults.
Awesome.
This in San Francisco, there's tons of cults like this. The tech cults, and they have these communities where they're all vegan and they all live together and they have group sex, which there's nothing wrong with that.
Do whatever you want.
But
cults, they're like mushrooms, right? They grow out of the filth of the forest floor.
Right.
They are the things that are spawning up as spores to break down the garbage.
Yes.
Right. So they live off garbage. All right. If I want to use a metaphor about cults, right, and these like deep religious ideologies that people are doing, these things remove you from the normal healthy state of what you should be doing, right? They're just using all this stuff as like fuel to like grow their little base. And it's great. There's benefits to the fruit. And in our case, we're taking this shot because this thing has fruited.
Right.
And it's essentially the clarification after the filth has been cleaned up. Okay.
But it can also, there's that whole new HBO show with the spores.
What are you talking about?
And you haven't seen that show? It's on HBO. It's awesome. But it's basically like a zombie apocalypse, but it happens through mushroom spores. And then the spores get into the people. So they're like half mushroom, half
Is this human. Magic Mind's ulterior motive?
No, it's not. We'll find out here in a few minutes.
Magic Mind means zombie mind.
Yeah. But I think you're preying on individuals seeking inner peace, seeking purpose.
Was that a pun?
Yeah. You're preying.
And praying.
Yeah, and praying. But you're like a predator. And I think a lot of people don't even realize what's happening. You kind of slip into this slippery slope, and next thing you know, you're in a full-blown cult.
Yeah, but I think you have to, there's got to be someone.
You're getting ass fucked by a cult leader.
Yeah. No, well, actually, I'll talk about that in a second. And it has nothing to do with me, but I will share what just occurred. It
doesn't matter either way, but
yeah, the cult leader has to do something that is like performative.
Yes.
To win the trust of those like believers. To say that this person is doing something that I can't do, but I have to either be with them or underneath them or let them command me so I can learn to come up to like whatever their level is, right? Yes. So let me give an example here. There's a guy in South America. Back in the early 2000s, I'd seen this and I was like, this is fucking incredible, right? This guy's name is John of God. You heard of him?
Yes.
So it's just this older guy, always wearing all white, classic.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, like I love the all white, but when you start rolling into like the cult vibe with the all white, like that's a little much,
Yeah.
So I remember watching this one scene. This lady had this like migraine thing, so he grabs her like the top of her fucking head, and he's got like these scissor looking like grabber things. I don't know. There's probably a name for it in the medical dictionary. I don't know what it is right now. Shoves it up the lady's fucking nostril, and he like rips out this huge tumor, right? But he does it in front of a huge group of people. And he was like this healer. And like Oprah backs him up. And she's like, oh my God, like John of God, like he's the man. He can heal you, like all this other stuff. She's like supporting. Come to find out, this guy's a cult leader. He's raped 47 women.
Yes.
And like a bunch of other absolutely horrific things that he has done. But what happened? He like won them over. And then the people need to be subservient to them because he's the master healer.
Yeah, this is Rudolf Steiner talks about this, like the Luciferian side of things, and this is where it happens when you start getting into this. You're not grounded anymore. You're going for the ethereal, the spirit side of things.
Yeah.
And then that thought process carries you away from physical body, away from physical things. So now when you're in this realm, it's like, and we'll talk about this here in a second with a cult that just happened, you become manipulated to the point to where you're denying even your own thoughts, your physical.
So this is a really cool point. For me, when I'm meditating,
right,
I don't meditate all day.
Mm-hmm.
It would be too much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here on this planet to do something material.
Yes. This is really good. Yeah.
I'm here to learn in material. There are things that can happen in the material if reconciled properly in the consciousness that allows the spirit to evolve. Once those experiences, knowledge and wisdom get accumulated and digested.
Yes.
Okay. But if I spend all of my time meditating, it's going to pull me away from the material learning that has to occur.
Yes.
Not that meditating's bad, but why is it that I can, I never need to do more than an hour? Because it is actually too much. You start to disassociate from what is really going on here.
Yeah.
And if you remove yourself from that balance, you're out of the equilibrium, and equilibrium is another part of that learning.
Mm-hmm.
It's a natural law that exists. You can't throw yourself out of it.
Yeah, there has to be a polarity.
Yes. And that other side,
as above, so below.
The spiritual one has a lot of energy. It's highly potent, but you can't just like full force dump into it.
Well, both sides have that pull of money and greed and the here and the now, and then the other side of the, like you said, this etheric, like who cares? You know,
Yeah.
let's just, or like psychedelic community can get into that, you know, or even a heroin addict.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I love this bliss
It's the
that I'm
disassociative state.
experiencing.
Yeah, it's a disassociative
So
state.
this doesn't matter anymore.
No, why would I? If I can disassociate and not have to feel any of the pain,
Right.
pain is good for you. Pain helps you learn.
Mm-hmm.
It is a part of your experience of being human.
You're supposed to.
You will live, you will die. You will feel
Yeah.
happiness, you will feel pain.
Yes.
All of those things you need to feel.
Well, pain is an illusion anyways, suffering and pain.
yeah,
that's
but it's
just
an
us.
illusion only to teach you things.
Yes,
that's
yes,
all it's
that's
there
all
for.
it is, yeah.
You know? Fuck.
Yeah. So with stupid spirituality,
I'm jacked up.
yeah, we're yeah.
Is this the magic mind? I don't
It's
know if
just
it
like
hits the
getting you-
body that quick. I don't want to say placebo, but man, I am jacked up right now.
Yeah, I was feeling like a little like buzzy feeling,
Yeah,
like
I
a
actually
buzz,
feel
like-
kind of nice.
like an alcohol type buzz or something.
Do you know?
Maybe
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
probably
yeah.
the matcha would be my guess. It could be the nootropics.
Yeah,
We'll find out.
I don't know, but I imagine if I had just like an IV of it and I'm sitting here,
So I wanted to kind of grasp the characteristics of cults.
just pump me full.
Put
I'm
an
done.
IV.
I'm done. I'm good. Go ahead.
This is perfect for you. I mean, this is vegan. So
This is just the right size.
yeah. So I want to get into the characteristics of a cult. So one is the charismatic leader, mostly male.
Classic.
If you really look at, you
Mhm.
know, which is funny because in the Gnostic times, you know, because you basically had two churches back in the day, you know, so you had the male dominated church with the rules and regulations, you know, taking, you know, Jesus's teachings and morphing them into the Bible where it's more, you know, laws, rules, you're a sinner, you're
Mhm.
separate from creation, from the creator, you
Yeah.
know, all that bullshit, the original sin, you know, all that dogma and doctrine. And then on the other side, you have this whole group of Gnostics that were mainly female, that were esoteric, you know, that were looking at these and saying, you know, we have this God consciousness in us, you know, as Jesus even taught,
Mhm.
you know, but we don't, like a lot of the books got taken out, Gospel of Thomas, you know, all these different, you know, these esoteric
yeah.
books. So you have this charismatic leader that hops on the scene. And then it's not like you can look at Jesus and see he was always like dishing away the fame.
Yeah,
He didn't care about the money. I mean, he gave Judas the things people would donate, you know. 'cause
That's
he would
not a
heal
cult
people.
leader, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not trying to cut you off, but he is the
No,
non-cult
That's
leader.
perfect. Yeah. Yeah. And so when you say that, because Jesus was always dishing off, say, greater works you can do than even I can do.
I'm not doing it.
So a charismatic leader that says, I have exclusive knowledge or I have a special divine connection.
Avoid. Avoid.
Those are the two things you
Okay,
got to.
Who's a leading example of this? The Pope
Yes.
and all the other popes.
Yes.
Okay. Who is that guy in California running that big hippie movement?
Well, you had the
Come on.
Jonestown Massacre.
Jonestown
The
Massacre.
People's
that's a different one.
Temple. I mean, he had politicians and everything in San Francisco. That's where it started. People don't realize that. But, you know, it was the People's Temple, Jim Jones, 1970s. Next thing they do, they go to Jonestown, Guyana, where he says he's going to do and then it turns into a nightmare, big loudspeakers, and you have to listen to him preach all day long and everything else. He promised racial equality, social justice, spiritual growth, all these things. Next thing you know, he's being super, and this is a key too, when they start being super oppressive and controlling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he started to do. So 1978, November 18th, guess what happens?
Let me think. People start dying. Classic.
900 members ordered by him to drink and ingest cyanide lace punch.
Okay.
He didn't say, hey, have some magic mind.
No.
This will help your health. This is really good for you.
I got nootropics. This is good for you.
He said, nope. He said, we want cyanide lace punch. So this created mass murder suicide. That's where it leads to. It usually goes down that road.
Did
And
they know cyanide was in it?
That's
the
what I'm
group?
wondering.
Otherwise, that's just mass murder.
Yeah, it's just mass murder.
But how many?
He probably told him because a lot of people, I mean, you just read this article. I mean, just happened a few days ago.
Yeah, but there's a I shouldn't have said and I just said it again. There is a sense of finality which these cult leaders give out, right? Or the church. This is the end. Work your way to it. Do what you got to do as much as you can. Hopefully, you get to where you need to be. Take these specific steps. Do these specific processes. Every single thing about it is dogmatic and is non-respective of the free will.
Yes.
But it becomes such an oppressive group And if you're not doing it, but everyone else is doing it, then you're the outsider. You want to be ostracized.
Mhm.
You want to find comfort in this group. That's what you came to it for.
Mm-hmm.
So the cult is then group oppressive, following the leader. And then you have the zealots, right? The ones that are like, I think that's the right word. The ones that are just like, we will do anything to back this guy up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll fuck you up. We'll throw you out. Well, I mean, even Scientology. We'll
Yes.
call you. We'll harass you. We'll do this.
Cars waiting, yeah.
It's nonstop. You know that,
Yeah,
right?
we're going to frame you, bribe you.
Correct. Okay.
We have these tapes of you revealing very intimate stuff.
Perfect.
They do
Okay?
this in Hollywood. And
Perfect. So all of these things, which you can see, are oppressive, hierarchical, and completely go against your free will. And then people are put into a state of fear,
mm-hmm.
and a reduction of choice occurs. And then they're in this state of groupthink, and they're not totally sure what the outcome is going to be. They're only told what the outcome is. So they're living in a state of constant belief. And then there's this group belief delusion that is occurring.
Yes.
And then from that, what happens? You can drive these people to do whatever you want. And guess what they end up doing? Killing themselves.
Yeah, Waco was that way.
Yeah. Oh, there's a meteor coming across the sky, or this is going to happen.
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate.
Yeah, that was Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles were the two with that. In 1997, members of the Heaven's Gate committed mass suicide because they wanted to reach a spaceship they believed was trailing the Hale-Bopp comet. They even bought, which was funny, they bought this really expensive telescope.
Yeah.
To see the spaceship, because he said that the spaceship was there. And they all pulled their money together to buy this thousands of dollars. So they pointed it. This is before they killed themselves. They pointed it at the Hale-Bopp comet. The spaceship was supposed to be really big. Did not see the spaceship. This is cult right here. So they took the telescope back to the company.
Yeah.
And said that it wasn't working.
Yes. Defective.
You're denying reality.
Science. It's totally defective. It's totally defective. So, dude, we're already 30 minutes and we got to do a part 2 on this.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and when we get back, we want to talk about the most current event that occurred.
Yeah.
Specifically for a cult leader, and it's happened in Kenya.
Yes.
Okay. Cool deal. Be back soon.